along those lines, right? Like there's the worst trades in baseball history invariably revolve around bullpen arms, right? Like Jeff Bagwell for Larry Anderson. We all still talk about it. It's 27 years later. Your dog is talking about it. Like I understand the agitation.
That's Bruno.
Bruno, Heathcliff Slocum for Derek Lowe and Jason Varitek. Like obviously, great trade for the Red Sox. How are you surprised to see that once again we're seeing some pretty high prices? Multiple top 10 prospects moving at this year's deadline. In exchange for bullpen arms. We've already seen it with the Phillies sending two, like number 5 and number 7 prospects to the Angels for Carlos Estevez. We've seen it with San Diego moving 3 top 10 guys to Tampa Bay for Jason Adams. Surprised?
Well, I don't get caught up in the rankings of these guys. It's like when you watch a college football game and they're telling you these guys are 5-star recruits, this guy was this, and then all of a sudden they're talking about all the walk-ons that are playing for him over the 5-star recruits. So I look at these rankings. Who's ranking them? The organization could tell you they're our 5th best player, but they might not even be the 5th best player. So prospects to me are just, it's evaluation of what you think they're going to be. I think it looks good on paper to your fans. I could say I got the 5th guy or the 7th guy, but in reality, most of these guys don't even pan out. So I look at it, does this player I'm getting back help my team? If this guy helps my team, I'm in a better place today than I was yesterday. Obviously, Bagwell for Larry Anderson, once in a lifetime trade, maybe. I don't think anybody thought Jeff Bagwell was going to be a Hall of Famer. So the key is in your own evaluation, you got to make sure you have enough people around you, which gets back to something I told you earlier. You got to have good baseball people around you that stop those trades for that reason. And you got to have good baseball people around you that tell you to make that trade because of our evaluation on this player. So I think you just got to be able to be open-minded and realize what you're giving up and realize what you're getting back.
So let me ask you this, JP. There was a time where Moneyball was revolutionizing baseball, right? And you were part of that in Oakland, and there were advantages to what you were able to do. To an extent, everyone's got their own proprietary version, but they're essentially analyzing the same numbers, right? And I feel like, and you talk to some baseball people, and they will say, one of the toughest things that stands in the way of getting a deal done is we're all sort of coming to the same decisions, right? So is that paralyzing the game? Are we not seeing as many deals because everyone's sort of saying, well, no, because you're going to get an advantage and we all can see that?
You guys are really trying to get me going today. The biggest misnomer with Moneyball was we had no money, so we had to be creative. And we weren't creative as analytically as Billy tried to make it look like with Michael Lewis in the book. I could give you a list of all the players we signed, whether it was 6-year free agents, waiver claims, trades, throw-ins, whatever, that were just baseball evaluations. And I know because I was doing the evaluating. The Matt Stairs of the world, the Tailgaters of the world, the Buddy Grooms of the world, the Carlos Reyeses of the world, the Geronimo Peñas of the world. I could give you a list. Those were baseball evaluations. Those weren't anything analytic. So today, all these guys are so analytically driven that they're afraid to give up anything because they're afraid to get hurt. And I'm going to give you a perfect example. The kid who's tearing it up right now, Tyler Fitzgerald with the Giants. I begged Farhan to put him on the roster 2 years ago. I said, Farhan, all I could tell you is if someone like me was out scouting the way we used to scout, and I saw a shortstop that could run, had power, and could possibly play center field, and he's unprotected, I'm Rule 5ing him. We can't risk losing this kid. They didn't protect him. They were so lucky. No one claimed him because no one's out scouting anymore. You got guys inside reading stats. They didn't claim him. The guy, and I put on my report, this guy's going to be a future all-star in the American League or the National League. He's got that type of talent. Now he's tearing it up in San Francisco. But they had no evaluation from inside. They didn't want to listen to anybody inside. They went strictly by the numbers. They thought he struck out a little bit too much. And So we're paralyzing organizations because there's no other identity that brings an evaluation to the table that they pay attention to. That's my Moneyball spiel.
We should probably have a separate.
It hits a nerve. It hits a nerve with me because people think we were sitting there. We only had like 10 people working for us. Who could do all this stuff that they said we were doing?
We should probably have a separate episode on just Moneyball. But so I guess I kind of as we train our thoughts on 6 p.m. on Tuesday, I'm curious, like, what's the fastest that a trade can come together? Like, how crazy is that last hour or last 2 hours? When does it really get like just into the boiler room insanity of the whole thing?
Well, I think Tom hit it on the head. The reason it doesn't get like that anymore is because it's paralysis by analysis. And these guys have got to work so long on running all their algorithms and running this and running that. There's no one in the room that says, make the trade. It's all, well, the algorithms today said not to do this. So I don't think it's as frenetic as you think it is. I think these are buildups. And there's organizations that you don't even want to deal with because it's laborious to make a trade. And I've made trades with so many guys, the Brian Sabians, the Doug Melvins. Those guys were so easy to work with. John Sherholtz. They were baseball people. They told you what they wanted. You told you what you wanted. Boom, boom, boom. Trade was done in 2 days. Doesn't happen today. So I think goes back to what Tom said. And I keep coming back to which organization is so analytically driven, they're dominating our game. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen one team rattle off, 3 out of 5 world championships, 5 out of 6 world championships. So I just keep coming back to, I understand analytics are important. I understand that they have a part in our game, and I understand that you can get some pluses from it. But I don't see where it's dominating our game. And if anything, it's made our game a little boring.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. Good stuff. That's why we're going to have you on for the trade deadline show. We got an hour more of this coming on Tuesday afternoon. JP, that was great stuff. We really appreciate the visit. Going to be fun, no doubt about that. And it's great seeing you back here in New England on Nesson, doing those Blue Sox games, doing some with us now coming up as well. So it's going to be a blast. Thanks for the time.
Oh, anytime. Good seeing you guys. Always my pleasure.
Great to see you, JP.
All right. Not many guests have called Alex Young either, so you'll probably get invited back now that you.
I remember when he started.
On that. Good stuff, JP. Thanks, the great JP Ricciardi with us as we wrap up this edition. 3:10 to left. We'll catch you again next time. Thanks for listening.